What's up, world, and welcome to our show, Cuzzo Convo. We're your hosts, Renaissance Ronnie
and Mo Lovely. We're here to have an open dialogue about all things Black reality TV, highlighting positivity and giving out real life accountability checks.
So grab your seat and whatever you need, because we're about to dig in.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to another episode of Cuzzo Convo. I'm your host, Mo Lovely.
And I'm Renaissance Ronnie.
And it is good to be back with you guys. See, we was, on time this week. So we didn't take a massive break. So, yes. So welcome back. Welcome back. For those of you that are our old cousins, yes, thank you for coming back. And for those of you that are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. We always love new eyes and ears. So, of course, we would love for you to, after this is done, or you can pause it and do it now, whichever you want to do. Love up on that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share. So let's go ahead and jump on in to this week's episode. So we start with Stormi as the peace retreat, continuation of the peace retreat. So what were your ending thoughts? Because it obviously came to an end. So what were your thoughts on the remaining of the retreat?
I'm glad it ended on a good note. It seemed that Destiny and Melody got some resolve out of the situation. I mean, of course, they did a part 2 and met up separately, but at least they ended well. Destiny got to get whatever she needed off her chest. And they both got some understanding that Melody did in fact speak, and that Destiny was just so hopped up at the time and angry that she probably didn't even she probably didn't hear her speak, or either she didn't hear her speak or it wasn't enough for her. But either way, they got some closure, and her cousin could have stayed home. That's why she didn't get a canvas beauty bag at the end.
Oh Lord, I even paid attention.
You know that she had no bag for her. Like, honey, although I'm the owner, I'm not going back to the warehouse to pack another bag for you, honey. You weren't invited.
That's funny. Yes, I will definitely say that the remaining of this part of the retreat or peace party, whatever you want to call it, I would definitely say that I think for the first time, well, there's two things that I want to say. One, I didn't really like, and because I always was wondering, like, why wasn't this brought up to her? I didn't really like that Mel had to fend for herself when she kept saying that I spoke.
Oh, why Kimmi never said anything?
Yes, and like that it took Destiny for being like, well, did you hear her speak? And she was like, and you could tell that Kimmi was like, oh, great, I'm about to be dragged into this and I don't want to be. But it's like, and I understand, but at the same time, it's just like, it just should have been straight up like, no, Destiny, chill. She actually spoke to you. You should have said it the day of the thing. And then after she came, and I just felt like it got dragged on way too much. And I'm just like, if that was me, I would have been like, no, girl, good. Listen, I know y'all not on good terms. I know she was not invited. But she actually did speak. No, she didn't come directly to you, but when she walked into her establishment with her mother, she said hi to you first, and then she said hi to me. Like I heard it. So I didn't really like that it took for Destiny to have to ask Kimmi, did you hear her say hi, to confirm that she did speak.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, they were both right, and this is where both Kimmi and Tisha, they were like, listen, I think that you need to understand, which everybody on the internet streets was saying. I think you need to understand that you were so outraged that Stormi had came, and even though y'all are, kind of talk through it a little bit, you were outraged about that. And then both Tisha and I were trying to really understand your feelings towards everything. And then here comes Mel, and even Demi brought it up. She was like, you were like tunnel vision. You did everything that was going on around you. You paid no attention to, and she didn't. So I was grateful that it seemed like everybody was actually able to hold Destiny accountable. And probably for the first time, we didn't really see Destiny. And I don't know if it's because her cousin was there that made her not like be what she normally is, of like, no, that's not what happened. No, that's not how I was feeling. No, that's not. But like,
and I think she has respect for Kimmi, and she looks at Tisha as a friend. So I wonder, did Tisha, when they had their dinner or lunch or whatever, and Tisha was talking all that trash, if it ever occurred to her to say that, well, maybe Tisha didn't hear it, but to her, I don't know, maybe that would have been the opportunity for Tisha to say, you just were so angry in the moment but they was too busy talking trash about Melody anyway, so.
Right. Yeah. So, because I'm pretty sure that was probably one of the questions the producers asked. Like, we want you guys to kind of sit and reflect on what happened specifically with Destiny and whatever. So that's probably why that never even popped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, though I was grateful that she wasn't able to like escape, like, and she was able to sit there and them saying, well, as your friends on this side and as your family on this side, this is our observation, and you may not want to hear it, but this is what the observation was, and this is what we saw, and this is what we were trying to gather about what was going on, how you felt, whatever. And then, obviously once Mel was able to talk, and she said what she said, I just, I agree with her, about the whole normalizing. Hey, listen, if we just come to a season in life where things just didn't work out the way in which rather it was the both of us thought it was going to be, or one of us thought it was going to be, it is what it is. I think then she said it. She was like, you and I should not have to like be in a position where we are not cool and like cordial with each other, which is
agree. No, I agree with that. I just I wonder, first of all, I wonder if Melody is in therapy or has ever been in therapy. And I wonder, because her ability, like, I think the way she responds to things makes me think that somewhere along the line, and not just with Martell, maybe from her childhood or something, she experienced like great disappointment. And so she blocks people out. Like, it's just like, not even 3 strikes. It'd be like 1 strike and it'd be like, you're out. And it's like she builds a wall around herself to not like really mentally invest in anybody. And then, so it's just easier for her to just cut them off and not be bothered anymore. So I wonder where that comes from with her.
That's interesting. I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't feel like we've had, like, I've seen, because I don't know, even when they had their sit down, when she was like, we rocked hard for each other, whatever. Like, I would love to know the years in which they were actual friends, because my thing is, or how long, I should say, I shouldn't even say years. How long were they really friends, or was this just a situation where, again, okay, Martell and LeBaric, child, were friends, like we were kiki, like, oh, hey girl, okay, yeah, our husbands is whatever. So I would love to know what the foundation of their relationship really was. because I don't feel like we have had a friend in Melody's corner yet, or on this show, where this is my childhood friend. This
And
is my, you know what I'm saying? So
that's what makes me wonder as well, like, who are Melody's friends? And just like I said, from what we saw, it looked like her and Destiny. I mean, Destiny was introduced to the show, although she was originally with LeBeric, and it was like a couples thing. But then eventually, once her and LeBeric were going through their issues, she was technically brought on as a friend to Melody.
Correct.
And technically everyone was brought on as like friends to the couple, I would say. Marsau and LaTisha was friends with Martell and Melody, and the same with the other Scots, Kimmi and Maurice. So I just want to know, and then Stormi. Now we have Stormi and we have Tiffany. But it still doesn't seem like they're that close.
Right.
So I just want to know. And then, of course, we have Kiki, who she kikis with every now and then. So it's just like, I don't know. Who are Melody's friends?
Yeah. And I mean, so I'll just say this. I think that I'll say this. It seems like there's a big possibility, and this could be from just like her having more solid relationship with mom. She strikes me to probably have more older friends that probably don't fit, because that and I only say that just more based off of even my own experience. Like right now, like when I think about like my friendships, I definitely have like people that are like 15, 20, 30, 40 years older than me that I don't really have like a circle of friends around me that if I were to do like a reality show, that these people would be like, yeah, I'll come on there. They'd probably be like, this girl, I ain't coming on no daggone reality show. I'm gonna be sitting here sipping on my little sweet tea and reading a book. Like,
I mean, but even in her social media, I mean, maybe she wants to, and not saying that this is a false portrayal of her, but maybe she just wants to portray like her businesses, her as the mother or whatever, so she doesn't really post it on her social media. But even on her social media, I never just see her like saying, I'm going out with my girls, or I'm vacationing with my girls, or it's just like, I just wonder. And then she always says, I just kind of, back up off of people and I just do my own thing. It's like she's very much like a loner, it seems like. And so
yeah. And I also wonder if that is this is a good question and great observation, why she even maybe stayed with Martell for such as long as she did, when people are always like, well, Mel, you knew that he was cheating before the show, you knew he was cheating during the show, and you knew that. So it could be that, she put like once she got married, like everything, and there are women who do this, where they drop off their complete circle, their social life, and they're like, I'm a married woman, I ain't got time for. And so those relationships are no longer in existence. Yeah. And then he became the center of her life, that then came to the couples and how it was like, okay, so this is who this is, and this is a married woman, so you're gonna be hanging out with this person. This is this, and they about to get married, so you're gonna be hanging out with this person. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's really more of a Martell thing than it is really a Mel thing. And she just, because I mean, some people, unfortunately, are told that. They're like, when you get married, you are no longer single, so your single friends got to go. And I've even had those conversations with single people that are like, oh yeah, like my parents have told me, like, oh yeah, well, Desiree's married now, so you don't go messing with her and her home and her household. She has things to tend to. And I'm like, who told y'all that? Like, that's weird to me. So yeah, so it could be more of that. Because again, we have not seen, and so then so with that being said, if her and Martell were married for how long? Like 12 years?
Yeah, I mean, together, I think 10 years. And then once the whole process started, it took about 2 years. So in all, I think, yeah, about 12 years they were married.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a long time. That's over a decade of like being with someone and then also becoming like a mother. And like, I'm just thinking that it was more about, I have relationships within the circle of the married group in the whatever. But as far as me having an invested group of friends outside of business, outside of, I just think that I think I seemingly sounding more of a Martell thing than anything.
Probably because when you think about it too, it became a time where every time she would want to do something with her friends, and then Martell would be included too, and she would be like, I don't always want to be around Martell,
Right.
like, and it's like, well, he is our friend too, so like, so they had
Yeah.
to like end up drawing a line somewhere. I think I remember Kimmi like feeling like, we need to like chill on inviting Martell. Like, basically, in so many words, Kimmi was like, I'm team Melody, so
Yeah.
I don't want Martell to come. I want Melody to come, and she don't want him to come. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so you could, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
And like I said, I think that it could be what you said too, because again, there hasn't been anyone, unless there are friends that are just like outside the show where they're like, I'm just not, no, like, I love you and I'm not coming on no show. So but yeah, it would be good to actually see that, to see a someone that's besides Miss Vanessa, that's a consistent person in her life, that where we really do get to see that, because at this point, all we're seeing when it comes to the relationship department is failure.
Yeah.
Like failed marriage, failed friends, maybe whatever you want to call them, associates, whatever. It's just seeming to just, we're not seeing any form of like great relationship besides like what she has with her mother, and then whatever they do show with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, we digress. So yeah, so moving on from, they all leave this house, and Stormi Yanla,
Stormiyanla.
she gave them some Canvas Beauty products to say goodbye, and then there was a moment that Kimmi and Mel had, and she was like, yeah, you definitely were not, you said some things and stuff like that, whatever. And then she was just like, I really, it was interesting because she was like, I just want to let I want to remind you that whatever has always been said has always stayed with me.
Sweetness. Yeah.
Which is great, I and so I guess she just thought, and I was like, well, if somebody don't want to talk about it at the table, maybe she thought she didn't want to talk about it at the table because there were certain people and she was
Yeah.
right. But I don't know. I felt like that definitely could have been a phone call or a text to just be like, hey, I did notice whatever. I'm gonna hit you up. Maybe we can talk about it. But
Have you ever used Canvas Beauty
no, ma'am.
products?
No, I can't. I mean, I have locks. So, with sister locks, it's different than regular locks. Like, we don't really use product like that on our hair. Because the thing is because they're so small, like, you'll really deal with a lot of like product buildup. And then when you go see your sister loctician, they'll be like, oh my gosh, you got so much buildup in your hair. And then like it kind of stays, and it's no. So I don't like use literally I only put I only shampoo, condition my hair. I don't, and then I might use like a toning spray, and like sometimes from here, like I actually, it's not even open, but shout out to Dr. Locks. So this is like a little a leave-in or whatever for. But yeah, we have to use like specific products. So, and even though her stuff is for mainly for regular locks, she a lot of girls do use her products for sister locks. So, but that's, like I said, that's mainly it. We don't, but no, I wouldn't be able to use like canvas stuff unless she had like more of a water base, like a rose water. If she had a water type of situation, maybe. But other than that, no. So
I mean, now that I did the big chop, maybe I'll give her a try.
Yeah. So we move on from this peace thing and and then we transition into the most horrific date night or date lunch or whatever. It was horrific.
Oh, why?
Gosh, I cannot stand Marsau.
Is that why it was horrific? Because you can't stand Marsau, or I mean, what is the difference between Maurice's hot dogs in a movie?
What? No.
And the picnic and tour.
No, the lunch. No, I'm not talking about his setup. His setup was like nice and all and whatever. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about this man sitting up here telling Tisha, this is the second time we've heard this man that they are her children and not his. And when she was talking about this whole thing about, with Mila being 10 years of age and the whole period thing, and he's sitting here looking at her like, what, like, I don't even know why you sharing this with me. This is like an overkill of you sharing something.
I think he's really sarcastic.
I
don't think he's serious.
In his sarcasm, that man is serious. I do not believe for 1 minute that Marsau, because he was even when she made the comment about, she was like, well, Destiny was raised by her dad, and he was like, she said, so of course he had to go to the store, get pads and things for her. He was like, oh God. And I was just like, I'm like, Marsau, are you really serious? Like, you're not, I don't know. Like, I just feel like even in his sarcasm, there is some truth in how he's feeling. Like, and then he even said, well, God forbid if anything happens to you, that I'll be married in 2 weeks. So that I was like, yo, what? I'm like, who says this? Like, because I'm sorry. He said, God forbid if something happens to you, then I need to get married. He said, God forbid something happens to you and there's a divorce. I'm like, so, sir, I was done. I was like, this man, I couldn't. That's why it's Tisha and it's not me. And God bless you, girl, because I don't know how you dealing with that type of man. I don't know.
Well, I know when I was watching it, my thoughts were, if I had a man that played this much, like, I would be like, look, stop playing all the damn time. Like, be serious. So I didn't really take him seriously, but I mean,
y'all let us know in the comment section, because I got a whole issue with this couple anyway, but Marsau, he's cool from time to time, and he's a very smart man. The other thing that was horrific is when he started talking about Dr. Francis. Don't come for Dr. Francis. Don't come for Dr. Francis because you're not even half the man he is. So myself, it's either like the fact that he even came and had a nerve to say, oh, Dr. Francis just, never even just kept digging into Lewis, didn't even let Big Lou, he didn't even let him allow for him to even say anything, or he didn't agree with but that is not a therapist, counselor. That's not their job. Their job is not, you come to them to fix issues and to work on your brokenness. So the fact that you believe for one moment that there is that you're going to come in and somebody's going to be your yes man, No, your problem is that your woman, your wife, and everybody around you is your yes people, and that there's nobody keeping you accountable at all. So then when somebody like a grown man who is about his business named Dr. Francis can come at you and say, listen, man, this is what it is. But that's okay though, because he knows you. He called your bluff. And that's why he said, let's wrap this up. Because he already knew that you weren't receiving. So my thing is, Marsau, when you grow up, you can get on, Dr. Francis is here. You can't see, and you about right here. When you get all the way up there, maybe you can then have a conversation and say, you know what, Dr. Francis, I can hear what you're saying. I receive what you're saying. And these are the things that I'm going to work on. Right now, all you do is you're saying, I hear what you're saying. And I don't agree with it. I don't care about it. And
I'm just happy he's still willing to do therapy, even if they got to find a new therapist.
He ain't willing to do no therapy. He just told her that because they was on a date night. He already told her that he wasn't going to buy no pads and he's going to divorce her and we're going to get married 2 weeks. He just was saying, I'm telling you, this man is a joke in a whole hamster wheel. He just goes round and around and around just like a darn hamster. And that just, I don't, nothing that come out that man's mouth when it comes to, especially him and his family, I'll be like, this is a joke to me. Like you know who you married, you know what you got, and even though you're saying if it gives peace to, and he's even admitted some of this in the confessional before, if it gives peace to Tisha, then I'll say whatever I gotta say just so that we're fine. Yes. So I really think, because even when she was like saying, well, okay, I think she asked a valid question. So if it's not Dr. Francis, then what do you desire, or what would be some qualities? And he was even going around, he was like, sir, no, you anybody that's going to,
someone not so perfect, he said.
Exactly. So, right. I'm like, anybody that's going to agree with Marsau is going to hear Marsau, and at the end of the day agree with him, and then go, now you can work on this to what, that's what he wants. And that's what really, really bothers me. And I really would love to know their background of like their father and how their father really played a role in their life, because it also sounds like he doesn't want to me, it sounds more like he doesn't want a man counselor, and he wants a woman counselor so that he can sit in front of this woman and think that he can mind F like he does his wife, manipulate her. So he thinks that he's got the charisma and the sarcasm to sit in the session and be like, well, that's what he wants. That's exactly what he wants. And that's the thing is that you're not going to get that. You're not going to get it. If she ended up finding a woman counselor, then he or she gonna end up finding somebody that's gonna be like, well, sorry, I can't agree with you on that. And he gonna be like, okay, we need to find another counselor. He would say it right. He would say it right in front of people, like, we need to find another counselor, because I'm telling you, I can't stand that man. I cannot stand Mr. Marsau Scott. He is witty. He's funny from time to time. But when it comes to an outstanding man, he might be successful, but when it comes to an outstanding man, that ladies, I'm telling you, please look at that man. And when you see those characteristics, you want to run the other way, because again, don't think for a minute.
I like Marsau.
I don't think for a minute that man ain't gonna be giving you hell.
Not for me to like marry, but I like Marsau. I think he's funny.
He is going to be the one where, again, when you're gonna be like, honey, do you think you could change your diaper too? He's gonna be like, this for what? What am I changing? I'm making money. I gotta go make this deal. I got stocks to stock. Like he will make up any excuse to get out of a responsibility of like being a wholesome man. And that's the thing. That's why I said, like, on the outside, like somebody might see him and he might be able to sit and talk to a woman at a bar, and he can tell them all about his successes, can say, all of this talk, and then a woman would be filled up with all of this stuff, and then the next thing you know, they'll get into this, and he'll be like, no, I didn't say I signed up to be that. I ain't know, and I mean, even the whole thing, like when he was saying, no, will you take care of the girls and then I'll take care of MJ? Would he say, I'll teach him how to drive a car? That's it.
I think we'd be shocked to learn what Marsau actually does in the house. So I think that's part of his character on the show.
I would love to know. I would love to. Please do it. Start a YouTube page so that I can see the day in the life of Marsau. That's you not smoking your cigars and going to Black Lounge and going to your properties and going to all that stuff is nice. But I would love to see the family man, because even when he was like, even though whatever, I am actually a romantic guy, and I was just like.
That was the worst part to me. Her upstairs faking like she didn't know what was going downstairs. Like, oh, this is what you've been doing down here. Like, girl, you can
her little silky hot pink dress.
That's why I said you had all that old. What did he say? Go upstairs and get ready. I got something planned for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can let me know in the comment section. I might be reaching. I don't think I'm reaching. I think my discernment is on. He ain't the man that whatever. Like I said, he has success. That's what he wears. And yeah, but he came for Dr. Francis. I love Dr. Francis. I know that's their little resident little counselor, but I love Dr. Francis, and I feel like everything that Dr. Francis has put to the forefront. And I agree with Tisha when he was like, he was coming at Big Lou, and she was like, he said, but he definitely, he had words and things for Tiffany, because truth be told, he kind of had it for her first, or had her at its most. And my thing is that how dare you come for Dr. Francis when Big Lou actually had a moment when he broke that man a little bit and that man started crying. That's why, again, I'm going to reiterate why you don't want to go to Dr. Francis. You don't want nobody to break into your tail feather to say, yeah, we need to work on this, and we need to do this, and we did. That's the thing. Like, I'm telling you, he's a brick wall, and he's like, I ain't letting nobody. I got multi layers, and I'm the thing. Yeah, sarcasm, all that stuff is just a mask. That's what Marsau wears. He wears a mask. I think that the whole funny thing, and especially because it could be the whole character thing for reality TV, which is fine, but at some point, let us see a glimpse of you, because your brother said that you were a sweet kid. And I got receipts, because I didn't even know this. One of my old coworkers went to school with both Marsau and Martell, and she told me that those two guys were some of the sweetest guys on campus. So again,
maybe Marsau is just putting on for the cameras. Maybe he is a sweet guy.
That's fine, but there's still some things that he still need to work on, because there ain't no way that I'm telling my wife that continuously that those are your kids.
Well, anyway, from there.
I ain't doing that. I'll go work with the boy and you work with the girls. No, we made these kids together.
We go to Destiny and Melody.
Yeah.
Destiny's having a photo shoot for her single, On 10. Is that the name of it?
I guess. I mean, I'm sorry. Her single is called, I'm sorry.
I think it's called On 10.
It is called On 10. I was saying, I guess, to the photo shoot. I don't remember what the photo shoot was for. I
what you were saying, I guess. So yes, she was having a photo shoot for her single On 10, and apparently she invited Melody to come meet up with her so they can have a part 2 or continue their discussion from Stormiyanla's peace party. And I think it went well. I actually think their conversation went really well. I can tell that Destiny desperately wants to be Melody's friend.
Mm-hmm.
I can also tell that Melody desperately just does not want to go back. She don't want to be friends no more. She doesn't mind being cordial. She doesn't mind being friendly, but friends no more.
Yeah, and I would even go to the point of I think that she would even support Destiny. Like if Destiny said, hey, I'm going to I have this coming up, whatever, I think that she would even support her in some areas. But as far as, yes, the friendship aspect, it goes back to what, like I said, I think that what you were saying, that in a sense, once things are kind of like, she feels like there's any form of brokenness, then it's just like, it's a wrap. I'm gonna cut
It's
this.
like, I'm not gonna keep beating this dead horse. I'm just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And yeah, back to what we were saying, I wonder why she's like that, but maybe for her mental health, she's just like, I got 4 kids and I'm just not about to. Because in a lot of ways, I'm the same way. Like, I'm not about to argue with anybody who is so-called supposed to be my friend or anything. It's like, that's my number one saying. Like, I'm not about to argue and fight with you. I got a whole family at home like that I actually care about. So it's like, and it's not to say that these friends are people that I don't care about, but it's like once it gets to that point where we are bickering or going back and forth, it's like, this is not important to me. I have actually human beings that came out of my body that are very important to me, and that I'm just not interested in arguing with anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's stupid to me. So I understand Melody, but again, I just want to know what that stems from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Destiny, I honestly think Destiny, I think I've said this before, she's completely confused about what happened to their friendship. I think that's why a part of the reason why she can't let it go, because it's like, to her, it's like, well, what? I mean, we okay, I understand we're going to end it. We're going to just be cordial or whatever, but how did we even get here? I think is what her question is. Whereas Melody's like, let's not go back. Let's just go forward.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was that. I mean, they did a little montage and showed how close they were or whatever.
I was like, you would have thought somebody had died. You know, like black and white. It was like, well, I guess they friendship died.
Did they even do a montage of Melody and Martell when like the divorce was really like happening? Did they do a montage of the good times of Martell and Melody?
I'm not really sure.
Melody probably said, don't do that.
I'm not greenlighting that.
So, I mean, that was that. I guess she did her Big Bird shoot.
Child, I was not even, when she was like, is it giving Big Bird? I was like, actually, I wasn't even thinking big, because the color looked really great on her. I wasn't even thinking like Big Bird until she said something. I was like, Big Bird. Like, oh
Melody was like, I had my Big Bird moment too, so which I didn't think Big Bird when I saw her in her dress either.
No. I was like, that one, that gold. I was like, okay, girl. But yeah.
So then we make our way to the period party. Well, there was, okay, so Kimmi and Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
Kimmi, of course, on the last episode, she said that she found 2 lumps, one in her breast and one up, like closer to under her arm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so from there, of course, she had the mammogram and the CAT scans. Is it CAT scan? And everything. Mm-hmm. And so they decided that they needed to do a biopsy. Mm-hmm. So her and Maurice were going to get her biopsy, and she just talked about being nervous and back to what you were saying last week about just having to hold it together for everyone else all the time. So even when he was like, are you worried? I think his question was, and she was like, a little bit at first, and then she said, actually, a lot of it. So she needs to, she's going to have to learn how to say, I need help, and just lean on others. This is not the moment for other people to lean on her. This is her moment to lean on others. And so she's going to have to let that go. And so it took us to the period party that Tisha was discussing with Marsau in reference to their daughters. Just basically like a party for preteens and teens discussing the womanhood, the menstrual cycle, and things like that.
And I'll have to say, like, I love, so I'm actually very familiar with the host. I follow, I have followed a lot of her studies and just like what she's done in the community. And so when I saw that she was on there, I was like, oh, I know her. She's phenomenal. And I think that it was a great conversation. And I'm grateful that they highlighted a lot of things that are not really talked about. Because I mean, if I think about any of my health classes from elementary school to, I mean, even high school, I mean, a lot of stuff they discussed was just not even like discussed. And you know, I would have to say, and I know this is like witch call, and y'all can let me know in the comment section, but there are some women that I can even say I don't even feel like they were taught in their own homes by other women how to take care of themselves, because I get so tired of using public bathrooms. That's why a lot of people don't use public bathrooms, and you see just nastiness. I'm like, these are grown women, like grown, like this is nasty, you know. And even just being a teacher, where like again, if you would go into the girls' bathroom and you would just see some very horrific things of girls just really not knowing how to take care of themselves, from again, from just the hygienic aspect to from what you do with your stuff and then even like, you know, smelling. I have like a really sensitive sense of like smell, so like it's like really not good for me. No, seriously. I'll be like, oh God, no. But like, so that was a major positive, and I think that even though she may not be on her cycle as of yet, I think that getting this education of like, hey, this is what you need to know, and then this is also what you need to like, these are the things that you need to be thinking about as you are, you know, going into your menstruation hood.
My only, not even concern, but my only question about the whole thing was, I wonder were those children or all the girls there, were they like friends and family members of Tisha? Like, were these girls that Mila and what's the little one's name? Do we know? Miley?
I don't think Miley, Macy.
Macy, yeah. Were they other girls that they knew? Because I mean, it could be kind of uncomfortable just with a bunch of stranger girls and talking about something so personal. So I just was wondering if these were like other little girls from their school or neighborhood or friends that they knew, or was it just like strangers?
I felt like Tisha did say that I'm taking, I don't know, maybe she didn't.
Like something she bought like a ticket to and they went, or was this something she put together? Did Tisha put this together?
It was something that Tisha did put together.
Okay.
But I don't, yeah. But yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it was good, a good idea, a good thing to do. Especially talking about, just like you said, not just the cleansing, what's the word? Cleanliness? Cleanliness of it all. But even like the diet, like specific diets, and how that comes into play with your cycle. So
yeah,
and
I know that it's like hard because it's like those hormones they get out, like just like when women are even pregnant, they get out of whack and they're just like, you know, why do you want things that are so like bad for you? But like, I know I learned early on, like, and it's so funny because I was thinking about Raval, and I remember like I was on my cycle, and I think we went to like, what was it, Manny and Olga's, and I got like, or Pizza Movers, one or whatever, and I got like cheese fries, and I was just like, and I never really cramped, so I was just like, oh God, I shouldn't have ate that. And she was like, oh my gosh, like fried food is like the only thing that I can eat on my cycle because I just like, you know what, but like for me, like it was the worst. Like if I just knew, I learned that was the time I knew that I just would never eat fried food ever again, like on my cycle or close to my cycle, because I knew that I would like cramp, and I don't have like cramps. But I mean, I don't really eat fried food really anyway, but I just, you know, if yeah, it's so yes, it is very, very true. Like watching looking at the nutrition and looking at which Dr. Brown said, looking over the whole month, if you are having continuation of like painful menstruation and all those sorts of things, like what did you actually consume? Because that's, you know, menstruation is actually a form of detox, and you know, detoxing isn't always fun. But yes, you should not be going through any form of like pain, like that much pain, cramping. And you also shouldn't be going through a whole long drawn out cycles either. Those are not good either. That's a sign of something is not going right. So
Trust me, I know. So during the period party, Maurice shows up and tells Tisha that he needs to talk to her right then and there, I guess, for whatever reason. And
yeah,
it was
that was
very
tacky.
important.
Sorry, Carlos. I don't know what filming schedule y'all was on, but I felt like that was the most tackiest time to let Tisha know. Like, I think that it could have been a family meeting that we called. I don't know. It could have been somewhere else. Like to pull somebody out of an event to be like, oh yeah, I'm driving. Because the thing is, I'm assuming that Kimmi said that she was going to maybe come through. I don't know, because
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that maybe she was supposed to come and didn't show. And so this was the reason why, because even for her to not go in and be like, you know I promised you I would show up, but I want to talk to you to the side for a minute, or just for the whole thing of Maurice going in, putting her out, then she coming out the car. And I don't know if it was like Kimmi was just like, I just want to say it, I just want to get it over with, I just want to get it out there, or what the case was, but it felt very weird.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't feel like like the moment that it should have been. I don't know. Like I definitely just think that it deserved much more than just this. Like, hey, I got some bad news, and then this is what it is, and then it's like, then Tisha's like, okay, now I got to go back into this event with the kids. Like I think it was unfair to Kimmi, and I think that it was also unfair to Tisha as well. Like why would y'all shoot
And Kimmi was like, I wanted to tell you and Marsau together, but I couldn't get him on the phone. So it was like, why did it have to happen right in that moment is what I was trying to understand. Like, she couldn't just wait. Okay, we can't get in contact with Marsau. I know what Tisha is, but I can't get in contact with Marsau. So let's just do this tomorrow. Maybe we'll have them by the house or something like that. It fell off.
Yeah, it definitely fell off. I don't know.
But we do find out that Kimmi, in fact, does have stage 2 breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so her journey begins.
Yeah. And you know, I will say that even though I thought the meetup scene was trifling, the one thing that I appreciate about Kimmi, it was trifling. The one thing that I can, and that's nothing to Kimmi or whatever. I know that y'all don't want to schedule. That's production. I'm saying production was trifling for having y'all shoot like that. But anyway, the moment that like kind of broke me a little bit is when I was gonna say Casey, when Kimmi had pulled out the little sanitary purse thing for, I guess, Macy or whoever the older child is, and she was like, I brought this and whatever, and then she just like started to kind of like well up and you know whatever, and I was like, oh, Kimmi, and this is like what I really appreciate about Kimmi. and I think why she's just a fan favorite when it comes to this show, is that even in the midst of her turmoil and her receiving news that day that this is what occurred, this is what is going on in my life, like still finding a way to serve and like still like
Thinking,
saying, hey, I'm showing up. And I will say that I really appreciated Tisha saying, listen, at the end of the day, this is what I do know about you. I know that if I call, you probably ain't gonna pick up. So I'm gonna come by the house and I'm just letting you know that. Like yeah. So and so I appreciate Tisha telling her that, because she's like, I know you, Kimmi, and I know that this is, you're going to try to do this on your own, but you need a village at this point.
right.
And like, to push us away is not the best way to get that healing. Because, again, that's a part of healing too. It's not just about like receiving the medicine part of it, but like in that whole intervention and getting that treatment, but a part of it, you got to look at it holistically. And so I hope that has been, because I don't know where she is today in her journey, but I hope that has been so far her journey and story, is that she's allowed for people to surround her, to be her village for sure. But yeah, and I even had like more thoughts. I was thinking about like everything that I was talking about last week, just about her even receiving even some deeper healing for possible. And I just was like, yo, I think that we also forget, like, Kimmi served in this pandemic as well. Like, and I don't know where Huntsville, like I don't even know if she actually necessarily works in a hospital in Huntsville or kind of somewhere else in Alabama, but like, and I don't know where they are in that, but I can only imagine, having to survive that as well, like 2 years of consistently working crazy hours, what I'm saying? So the body just, again, like, it was a lot on her. It was a lot on her, serving in that way. And the connection that I made was that what I was telling you guys last week about my husband's grandmother, she was also, she worked in a hospital too. She was also a nurse. So, and same thing, like loves to serve people. Like when we at her house, we ask her sometimes to sit down. Because she's like, oh, you want me to watch this? Oh, you want me to do this? Oh, I can do this. Oh, you want me to put this? I'm like, Mom, sit down. Chill. Like, but she's been like that. And I think that that's when people get into that servanthood careers, it's like they find themselves always again being everything to everybody. And like, they don't know how to kind of take a seat back to just be. And again, so when you have that on you, and if you also feel like, even if you have a tribe that you can reach out to that could support you, I think that those are the type of people that just be like, no, I'm good, I'll get through it. Nah, I got this. And it's like, how many times do we, and I think again it happens a lot in the Black community, how many times do we have to say, no, we good, no, we got this, until we come to this point and being like, dang, I had to get this to finally get help. And and that just shouldn't be. Like, we should be able to, as a community, say, no, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on, and I need some form of like release. Like, I literally, when I was with my old coworker, when I went to the spa, I was like, girl, since I've been a mother, I said, this is like my first outing. I said, that's 2 years. That's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I even keep my own self accountable, like, wife, mothers, especially if you are working wife, mother, all that stuff. Like, we have to, when we're in servant roles, just as women, working wife women, working wife, mother women, like you start adding all that stuff up, you're like, there's a lot that's on us. And so, so I speak to myself as well, keep my own self accountable, saying, no, you can't wait 2 years to take some time off from motherhood, or from all of hood, motherhood, wifehood, all of it. Because child, yeah, that's a whole nother story. So yes, so that, I digress, but definitely prayers to Kimmi. Again, I hope that her journey, no, we don't necessarily know where she is at the moment, but that her journey has been a pleasant one for her and not as hard. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
So let us know how you guys felt about this past episode, and comment below and let us know. Do you think Marsau is putting on for the camera, or do you think Marsau is a real life jerk? That's number one. Number two, do you think Melody is like has a wall up, and or is maybe she does have friends on the outside, we just never see them. Maybe she's a girl's girl and has lots of friends, we just never see them. Or do you think that she fell into this thing where her and Martell were a couple and she ended up being friends with other couples through Martell, and so that was kind of her circle, and now that her and Martell aren't together anymore, the friendships kind of went away. So you think it was tacky, the whole scene with trifling? Is that what you say, trifling?
The
whole scene of letting Tisha know.
Word works.
The whole scene of letting Tisha know of Kimmi's diagnosis.
Yeah.
And of course, put some prayer signs in the comments for Kimmi. All of that. Just let us know how you felt about the episode.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. We out. Remember to
like and subscribe
and share. Peace.